WestWorld Season 3, Episode 4 has released last week, and we want to talk about all the big revelations in here. So it's going to be a spoiler warning, right? I think, Chris? I think it's safe to say. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of this episode, what did you think of it as a whole?
I really loved it. I was surprised that certain things happened as far as, like, kind of Dolores' plan is revealed.
Yeah, the episode, by the way, the title, I just pulled it up, The Mother of Exiles.
Mother of Exiles.
So that kind of does set the tone of the episode. After I watched it, I kind of get the title meaning.
Yeah, it was really surprising as far as, like, oh, they're going into this early.
Yeah, right?
There's another at least 5-6 episodes, or 6 or 7 episodes, and to kind of sit there and go, oh, we're talking about Dolores' plan now, and, we're going back. I loved everything with William and Ed Harris, who's the Man in Black, kind of seeing his, for the first time, his hangover from season 2, which he was kind of like half of season 2.
Yeah, he's like almost like I think hangover is good. Where like a hangover psychosis, he's seeing things that aren't real, and then even at the end of the episode, a little spoiler here, like he gets in a mental hospital, right? And he's talking to Dolores, but like before that, he got stabbed in the neck or pricked in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not even sure if this is him and his brain creating these hallucinations, and he actually is going a little bit twisted, or is this something that the hosts and Dolores and the rest of the evil robots, I should say, are making him do or putting into him? Like, I don't even know if he's a host or not. Like, you still have all these questions out there, and it's good. I
think it's both with him.
Yeah.
I think with his daughter, he's mentally broken down in that aspect. Where, like, obviously, if anyone's seen any of this, Ed Harris was in season 1 both the older version of William and the younger version of William that goes to the park, which we find out at the end of season 1. And he is someone who is obsessed with WestWorld. He thinks it's a giant game. He's someone who basically went into a company, built himself up, and took over the company.
Yep.
He is someone who sees life as a giant game, and he is there to win. And he gets this company. He's a multi-billionaire. He's putting stock into WestWorld. He's trying to figure out the game and figure out how to win, which ends up, him kind of melding the real world and the fake world, right? He doesn't know what's real and what's fake. He ends up accidentally killing his daughter, thinking she's the host in season 2. So I think seeing her is an actual mental projection, but I think you pulled up one of the biggest points where we see Tessa Thompson kind of prick him in the neck with this little, like, syringe needle that pops out of her finger when he's going to the mental institution. I think that was on purpose. I think that injected him with something tech nanite related
that they could track.
That they not only can track, but like Dolores can appear in front of him,
maybe,
and talk to him. I think that end scene with Dolores talking to him was based on whatever they pricked him with, almost like a hologram. And I think that's also to help his psychosis stay in the mental hospital, right? Because if they're talking, if you're in a mental hospital, people are watching you, and he's talking to no one, but he's clearly talking to Dolores, it kind of keeps their, playing.
Correct. I think there's going to be more, obviously there's going to be more with him, right? He's a central figure in this. I think it's time, we address the big point of this episode, the Mother of Exiles. Like, this is focused on Dolores and her plan, and this episode really kicks everything into action. We see her going and taking the money. She's going to go pick up the one guy that she's been following, killing for a while. And we saw the wheels of her plans are actually in motion. And then we see Maeve, finally decides, hey, I need to stop Dolores and do her own hunting. And you see all the different angles of Dolores' plans. The whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, who are these people? Then at one point in the episode, this is the big reveal here. All the different robots, hosts that are under Dolores' command, if you will, they're all getting confronted on who they actually are. And I'm like, all right, maybe one is this one person. I'm trying to figure out who they are, right? And I'm sure you're doing the same thing.
Well, yeah, like I knew from what season they were, but I was like, oh, why is this person here, like, in the real world now? Like, oh, why did she make this person? Basically?
Exactly, right? So I'm like, all right, who are they? And then it turns out that they're all are Dolores.
Great.
I thought, brilliant twist from Westworld. It's a simple thing, and it's a brilliant evil plan by Dolores. You have yourself and only yourself to count on, and you're doing everything right the way you wanted to. Like, you're in multiple places at once. Everybody wants that ability, right? So you could get these crazy political power moves in play, or these crazy, like this technological takeover that she's trying to do in play. And I'm just sitting back in awe, and I'm like, wow, she did all this. Wow, she has this power. She has this much control. And I'm sitting there like, all right, how is Bernard and Maeve and the rest of the humans are going to stop her, really, right? Like, I'm almost rooting for her. And, like, I don't even know if I should be rooting for her. I'm just enjoying the wild ride. Like, how did you take the
I had a little
result?
Similarity. I mean, maybe it's because we just finished watching The Americans.
Okay.
Where you're, like, basically rooting for the Russians during the Cold War, which is backwards because they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's more of like, hey, I want more knowledge, right? I want to know more. So you kind of want Dolores' plan to continue. You want it to activate and see what the hell's going to happen. Right. And at the moment, I think we know 4 of the 5 that she has, right? Because it's Tessa Thompson.
Yes.
It's the Japanese
gentleman, Sato
from the Yakuza. Yeah. It's obviously herself, and it's
the bodyguard.
The Irish bodyguard. So
does she count as herself, or is there a 5th body? There's 6 total or 5 total?
There's 5 total. That's a good question.
I thought.
Well, no, there has to be 6, including her.
Yeah, so there's 2 more we don't know about.
There's 2 more then. So we don't know who 2 are.
I don't know. Which is cool, right?
Or maybe she hasn't made them yet, because we saw her make Tessa Thompson and kind of coach her through the infiltrating her life.
And she still has multiple orbs on the table, like when we see her at different scenes, like what exactly are those? Yeah.
So now, like, she has some more to do, and her plan is not even close to being done, which is really interesting.
And we don't know what the plan is. Like, I'm loving the ride. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Maeve, right? She's undercover. She's working... Not undercover. She's working for this gentleman who apparently invented all this, right? And the theme park perfected it, right? He's the first guy in the theme park who invented the whole host and trying to copy the human mind, if you will.
Yeah.
I think he is not real.
I think he is.
I think I think every time we see him, it's a projection.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that could be it. I think he was real with Maeve because he shot a guy in the head. But I think he is an interesting story, right? It seems like he's from Chernobyl originally.
Oh, yeah.
When they do the flashback, it's like he's in this, like, Eastern European country with a huge mushroom
Paris, right? So,
he said he grew up in Paris.
Yeah.
So it seems like he was taken out of Chernobyl, put in Paris, and was raised there, and he kind of, like, built himself up in tragedy.
Maybe.
He is an interesting kind of evil.
Mm-hmm.
Because most bad guys are very, simple, right? They want something.
I don't even know if he's a real bad guy. This. That's the beauty of the season. Like, I don't know who the bad guy is, and who I should be rooting for. I know Bernard is the anchor for me and other viewers. I'm sure we know his intentions are pure. We know he's the neutral, good third party that we could believe in. And but I don't know if anybody else. What?
You know he's a Hemsworth, right?
Who?
The guy with Bernard, his bodyguard?
No, he is not Hemsworth.
That's Luke Hemsworth.
That's the rejected Hemsworth?
Yep. That's the Hemsworth to the power of 3 or something.
Yeah, he's the 3rd ranking.
He's the lowest tier Hemsworth.
Oh, well, I mean, nice. All right.
I think it's cool. I like his part.
I do like him.
Where I like the button where they're in the masquerade ball and he's just pressing the button and the guy's like, "The hell are you doing?"
How good was that fight scene though? With, what's his name?
Oh, with Dolores
and Hemsworth. Fine.
Yeah, and they were beating the hell, and they were like nothing personal, and it's like, yeah, neither of them could feel it anyway. And like it's just ridiculous. I think Maeve's story is going to be very interesting this season, where her kind of season 1 and 2, right, is escape, find my daughter.
Yeah.
Now it's stop someone like me after trying to basically be Dolores in the Revolutionary, right? Like, Maeve was kind of the one that was at the forefront of all this, where, like, no, I'm going to be the Revolutionary. I'm going to kind of take our people to a safe world where we're not getting, raped, killed, and murdered and used as playthings. And Dolores kind of up-jumped it and was like, no, this is my game. And Maeve is still kind of stuck. So it's going to be interesting to see them combat each other. Now, I don't know if she's going to try and change Maeve into one of her.
Maybe. Or maybe Maeve's been a part of it the whole time and we just don't know.
Maybe. And my other thing is, I'd like to know what Aaron Paul's going to be doing. Meaning, like, I think his beginning arc was really good, right? Where, we see the PTSD, we see the trauma from war, and he's in this overly technological world where he can't grasp, like, himself. He's like, I don't really know myself. Now he's helping Dolores for reasons beyond the fact that, like, she's a pretty blonde girl in a lot of nice clothing, right?
Yeah.
But
who treated him nicely?
Yeah, like, she's treating him like an equal. But what's the next step for him, right? Like, is he just going to be the mindless, like, follower? Or are we going to get, like, where he's going to have a breaking point? Like, what? He's too big of a name in this show to not have an agenda. Like, does he eventually join Bernard? Like, what's going to be the side of him that kind of, like, goes, I follow along because of this. I thought the scene with them in the bank was awesome with the blood thing and the fingerprint.
I think, now, next episode coming out Sunday, later tonight when we're recording, that's episode 5, right? So that's going to be the midpoint. I think that's where we're going to start seeing him questioning more. I think it's going to focus a little bit more on him, like, all right, why am I helping her? What exactly is her plan? What's my part in the plan? What happens to me? I think that's where we're going to see him question himself. But I think overall for episodes 4 of season 3, the Mother of Exiles, fantastic. I think the show is on a huge upswing. If you aren't watching it, you need to be watching it. Still one of the best intro musics that I've ever seen.
Oh, it's phenomenal. The music in the show is far and
on point. The score, the cinematography, everything that they're doing is up to the next level. And I can't wait.
Don't trust pretty blondes with your money.
No, don't trust anybody.
Yeah, anybody. Let alone the random pretty blonde girl that comes in to take your money.
So I guess that wraps up our review of episode 4, season 3 of WestWorld. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of this episode, what you think of the future speculations of this, and more importantly, are you watching the show? And if not, let me know why, because we definitely want to know.
And there's time to, so there's no reason not to.
Exactly. What else are you doing?
What else are you doing?
Watch The Office for the 1000th time. Take a break with The Office. Watch WestWorld. You're going to be happy you did it. What?
Answering email? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know what people are doing.